Just left Ketton, got up the hill, start of a about 40-mile journey down to Corby Glen. Beyond the Ketton Quarry now, lots of skylarks singing, even in these fields that you might just see, and heading on the road to Empingham now, which is a minor road, but it does get used by fairly busy traffic, so I'm hoping I'll get over and done with this bit fairly quickly. I'm on my Scott, my road bike, got snacks of banana, some muesli bars, plenty of water, including some High Five energy drink. Rutland Water is just over the back of those woods there, and this is a little drop down into the River Gwash, which the dam was constructed over for Rutland Water Reservoir. And then Empingham's just the other side, and I'll be going up over that hill towards Clipsham and Pickworth to head out into the River Glens. There's an East Glen and a West Glen to get to the village of Corby Glen. It's a beautiful day, but it is quite cold, and I have to say I wasn't sure quite what to wear today, so I've gone for my Rafa winter jersey. I've got some neoprene booties on, Alturo, just to make sure that my toes don't get too frozen. I do suffer with cold toes. That's my first 5 miles done. I'll catch up with you later. This is the church in Empingham. Nice little village shop there. Always sell nice pies and pastries and things, which I've often used in the past. It's a remarkably busy little back lane, this one, but a beautiful village. I always like coming through here with these thatched cottages. About to pass under the A1 now. Stamford's just to the south of here, and strangely you go under but then immediately turn up a little side road which takes you toward the village of Pickworth, which is a lovely little back lane and gets you off of any kind of main road. But on this next left turn it always feels that you're about to, well, you have to contend with the A1 in some context or another, but in reality you don't really even notice it's there in some ways. So that's the A1 just there. I'm on the eastern side of it heading north on this lane, which was the old A1. It's hard to believe, whenever this was used as the A1, that all the traffic we now see on the A1 used to go through Stamford and on this road as part of the Great North Road. And now this is dead quiet, and you could literally ride in the middle of the road and not deal with anyone else. But that is the A1 right there, and my turning off of this is just coming up onto that quiet back lane. I guess it might get described as a lost lane. I imagine it used to carry more traffic as it was linking directly to the A1, but these are sort of South Lincolnshire villages which are very quiet north of Stamford, and it's a pleasant little lane, this one. I always like it. There's a couple of cattle grids to deal with, which I always have a little panic about, but then they're fine when you cross over them. My bike is 2013 Scott, 2013, so it's 2025 now. It's a 13-year-old bike. Before I got it, it's a second-hand bike. It's aluminium framed. Before I got it, someone had upgraded whatever the original group set was to a Shimano 105, but it's rim braked, which is not really fashionable these days, I suppose, but it's a bike I don't believe that should be more than a pleasure to ride. And this is 28mm tyres, which I think is about as wide as you can go on this era of bike. And with the Shimano 105, it's an old system, so it's 2x at the front, and I think it's a 10 speed on the back. I don't really know. Most of the time just find the right gear and keep pedaling, which I guess is really the best thing to do. Anyway, there's a bit of nice country lanes to enjoy, so I'm just gonna get my head down and pedal on. Just past the trig point. Pretty high land above Stamford here. Here's the first of 2 cattle grids. I'm going to hold on with both hands because bottomed out on the rim. Maybe there's not much air in these tyres. Didn't actually check before I left, but it was a case of recognising the road surface is quite bumpy, so I didn't want to go too firm and find I was uncomfortable. Just going to pull in here and let a car go past. There's some little lambs. It's definitely lambing time. I sort of like this field. It's got an old hawthorn hedge. It's always got sheep about, and I always feel it's quite a nice little quiet lane, although I've now seen a car. This meadow is Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust managed, and these are triple SI woodlands behind as part of Pickworth and the extension towards Kirby. And I used to get in here quite regularly when I was Forestry Commission, because the agent needed some advice and some felling licence regulation stuff. And they're nice woods, but they weren't getting a huge amount of intervention. It was just a tickle here and there. But they did do a big clear fell on this northern end, which I don't know if I'll see from here, but got restocked, and I have no idea how it's going now. But as a forester, I enjoy thinking about that. I think you can see some of the tubes up there, yeah. So I can't tell from this angle and into the sun whether those trees are growing, but I am sure that the forestry team are looking after that. And this lane just keeps going on. It's just a nice one to pedal. I suppose it's not dissimilar to some of those ones in Suffolk that near Mum and Dad. Just country ways. This would have been a drove road of some sort with its wide verge. And I have a feeling some of these verges were actually triple SI in their own right for their wildflower. I can't remember without checking. Just in Holywell, there's a landscaped park and ponds, lakes, traditional for the area. All the snowdrops along the bank here. There's always waterbirds about. We've already seen some heron in that field and Canada geese all over there. I think I can hear some widgeon and tufted duck, looks like, over that way. But as I'm riding, I'm not going to stop and have too much of a look. Here's Castle by them. Can't remember earlier if I said I was going to Castle by them, which I am, or Corby Glen, but Corby Glen's my destination for the end point, where I'm going to then turn to go back. There's a village shop there. I'm going to have some lunch, hopefully. Hope they're open. I haven't checked. If not, there'll be bound to be some pub or something open on a beautiful Saturday afternoon like this. But with my snacks, I've definitely got enough if I have to. But I would like some proper lunch. And Castle Bytham has got an old castle area in it, but it's very much a Lincolnshire farming village, and obviously has its roots in that. Hope this van behaves. Is he going to see me? Hovering on the brakes. Not sure. He actually saw me. He looked behind me. Always a worry. Just if you're driving, open your bloody eyes. Take your time to look. Oh yeah, there's this little village community shop here, which I've used in the past. There's some other cyclists out. And we're actually running parallel and going over the East Coast main line at some point. That's not it, that's an old little village connection, probably closed in beaching cuts. I think the castle is down here actually, rather than being on top of a hill. I'll film it if I see it. There's the castle of Castle Bytham, the village pond, and continue on. Been going for about an hour now, and thought I'd have a quick rest, get some chimp food, have some water. Haven't drunk really much today, the very top off my high 5 energy food, and I'm not actually sure where I am, somewhere north of Castle Bytham, but I thought it felt quiet, so I thought I'd stop here, just enjoy that quiet. So I'll shut up now and just listen. Coming in toward the village of Swayfield now. It's about 3 miles in to Corby Glen, I think. Hope. And yeah, just often think I should come out this way more on my bike, but I don't, and I should just don't know why. It's really quite nice, easy cycling. It does help that on a day like today, everything feels a bit better. I admit, didn't want to get out on my bike this morning. Felt all heavy and felt unmotivated, but I was very indecisive until I decided, fine, I'll go on the Scott. It's warm enough that I'm not going to be icy on the roads, and now I'm out, I'm loving it, which is always the case. So in Swayfield there's a church that you might see on the right hand side, just over the hedge. Your road A151, but hope I'm not on it for too long. Currently quiet. For how long? So that was Corby Glen. I used to think there's quite a few people who are using the cafes and a little pop-up cafe there. I went to the local Co-op Nisa and grabbed the pasty, which is my lunch. And it should be about an hour and a half home, another 20 miles. And hopefully all goes well. Bit of a headwind now. It's probably what made it feel slightly easier getting out here, as that was on my back before. Anyway, current speed about 14.3.4 miles an hour. Straight enough and flat enough like this, it'll be alright. And that was Swinsted, small village. On my way south. Fresh tarmac into the headwind, 25 miles an hour. It's quite good. It's quite fun, this bike, despite being 13 years old, or 12 years old, whatever. And it does go when you're on flat, smooth tarmac. Oh, a downhill coming up. That'll mean there's an uphill on the other side. That Golf doing? He was waiting. Good. Been through Little Bytham, and I think we're coming up to the Spinney, which is one of our favourite places, particularly when Rose was little. Yeah, this is it. Right by the East Coast Main Line, which runs every so often past, but the train's thundering along. You're well separated from it, but a nice little play area in the woods, community group, and lots of kids like it. They had a fire pit, which we used once for one of Rose's or Alfred's parties, possibly twice. And that's the entrance there. Haven't been in there for years now. this hill. It's slow and gradual. It feels like it goes on and on and on. If I'd been on my gravel bike, that last turn into Ornby links back via a gravel fun farm track to the Pickworth area, whereas I'm going on towards Stamford and via Rye Hall. This hill, churning away in my easiest gear, and I think I'm going back to crest, but it feels like it's going on. I can just see Ryle Church, which I'll be cycling past in a bit. So this is the last bit of this road, the B whatever it is, 1176 or something, that takes me down to Ryle and then into Stamford. So nearly back. I say that, probably about 10 miles. That's Ryle. This is my one bit of actual dedicated cycle lane. It's shared use lane, running between Ryle and Stamford. It's nice and smooth really. It's quite comfortable on my bike. I know people complain about cycle routes not being as smooth as a road, but yeah, this has got a few bumps like we're just going over here, but I'd much prefer to know that I'm on this than on the main road, although there's going to be some confusion because the car's not going to know what to do, so I'd better stop for them. Oh, thanks. Oh yeah, thanks. Just wish there was a few more like this though, where you have got tarmacked cycle paths linking between settlements. Why would I want to be on the road when it's like this? I think the cycle path comes to an end here. fence crosses over, so you can carry on down this side. Bit of a bollocks to that, really. Oh. Hi, I'm just coming through on the right there, if that's alright, thank you. I'm going to carry on filming all the way through Stamford now, because it could present all sorts of interesting situations. Not least of which, I've never actually been sure how this cycle path continues on into the town. I think it takes me past the hospital. End of cycle road. Oh, well, there you go. That's where that finishes. Or does it? Because now there is a sign on this side. So I presume it does carry on. Shared use of signs there. Oh yeah. job Audi GK71 BPY. This is a bit that's always covered in stones and shards of glass and things from the road debris, so I hope it don't puncture right now. There's a short section where we actually go right alongside the A1, which I think must freak out some of the drivers as much as it freaks out me. There's the sign that officially shows cycle route. Completely unsegregated. No crash barriers. Hate it. I absolutely hate it. But it is a serviceable route. From that's work for what I need. So even this is better than nothing. That racecourse road. And this is usually a fairly straightforward section now. It only takes some light northbound A1 traffic off westwards to join up to the villages to the west of Stamford, eastern on the hill. Me being in the drops on the racecourse road, coming up to the main road now, the A43, which I hate. It's not a cycle friendly route at all. GoPro's playing up, keeps cutting out. Not sure if it's recording this, but I wanted to record this road because it can be horrible. Some of that's recorded. 37.6 at this stage, and just under 3 hours.